the moral fabric of society is declining. Now, here's where it gets deep. Satan, I've learned, is a master trapper. He will set one trap here, so everybody says, trap, and then they run, pop, and then get hit right here. Satan is a master trapper. And the reason I know this is because watch how the devil works. You see, God told us violence is going to be terrible in the last days. God told us the gifts that he gave to humanity to be a blessing were going to be corrupted in the last days. We just took a snapshot view and saw the degradation that is happening in society. So watch the next trap that Satan set up. This trap was with the religio-political movements. People started to get so turned off with all of this evil that's going on. They started to get so turned off with the corruptions in society that Satan set them up for a trap. You see, the Bible lets us know. In Revelation 13:1, the Bible says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy." Okay? This is none other, for students of prophecy, this represents none other than the Roman Catholic Church system. Okay? The papacy. Now, what made the papacy so powerful? Take a look. It was down in verse 7. It says, "And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them." Well, how did he do that? It says, "And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations." When you have power or authority to rule over all of the people, kindred, tongues, and nations, that's called civil power. You have power over the civilians to tell them how to live. But it doesn't stop there. Verse 8. Verse 8 says, "And all that dwell upon the earth shall do something else." What shall they do? Worship him. Worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. In other words, it was a union of not only civil power, but also religious power. This is what Rome had originally. Now, you fast forward to 1998, and you ask Rome, "Hey, Rome, do you guys still want to have civil and religious power?" Well, let's take a look at what they said. In 1998, there was a little article called Dies Domini, the Day of the Lord. And what they wrote in this little article is they said this: "When through the centuries she has made," she is representing the Roman Catholic Church system, "when through the centuries she has made laws concerning Sunday rest, the church has had in mind above all the work of servants and workers, certainly not because this work was any less worthy when compared to the spiritual requirements of Sunday observance, but rather because it needed greater regulation, to lighten its burdens and thus enable everyone to keep the Lord's day holy. In this matter, my predecessor, Pope Leo XIII, in his encyclical Rerum Novarum, spoke of Sunday rest as a worker's right, which the state must guarantee." Now, here's the part that was concerning in 1998 that Pope John Paul II stated. He then said, "Therefore, also in the particular circumstances of our time, Christians will naturally strive to ensure that civil legislation respects their duty to keep Sunday holy." He literally said, "I want Christians to strive to go to law to establish Sunday laws in order for us to keep the day holy." Now, when I saw that, I was like, wow. But that was 1998. I said, maybe Rome has changed their mind. Maybe they shifted gears, because Rome has a tendency of at least telling people that they changed. And so I said, let me see if they shifted their minds. Well, here's what I found. May 30th, 2023. That's not even a month ago. And what did they say in the National Catholic Register? Dies Domini, the Day of the Lord, is more important today than in 1998. The pandemic weakened already poor Sunday Mass attendance, and commercial and recreational activities have conspired for decades to wrest Sunday away from the Lord. In the United States, for most of the year, it appears to belong to the NFL, talking about Sundays. And so to date, the papacy, Pope Francis, and everyone involved still believes we need to come back where the church can influence the state to set up laws. Now, this is Rome's position, But the Bible continues. You see, there was another beast that came up on the scene. The Bible says in Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. He had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This, again, the students of prophecy understand to be none other than the United States of America. Now watch. It says in Revelation 13:12, and he exercises how much of the power? All the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. It seems like the purpose of the second beast is ultimately to bring everybody back to pay homage to the first beast. And how's he going to do it? By exercising all the power the first beast had. Well, what was all the power the first beast had? The combining of civil and religious power, better termed church and state. So is America trying to get to a place of a union of church and state? Let's take a look. Christian nationalism is on the rise. Christian nationalism is on the rise. Americans are growing more accepting of Christian nationalism. It says in an interview with the conservative Next News Network in June, Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I'm a Christian and I say it proudly, we should be Christian nationalists. Some observers suggest that recent Supreme Court decisions have supported the far right's goal of treating Christianity as more important than liberal democratic norms. What is Christian nationalism? Take a look. American Christian nationalism is a worldview based on the belief that America is superior to other countries and that the superiority is divinely established. Christian nationalists primarily focus, notice this now, Christian nationalists primarily focus on internal politics, such as passing laws that reflect their view of Christianity and its role in political and social life. You'll remember that it was not very long ago, in the month of April, Texas, they made an effort. It failed because of poor timing. But they made an effort. It shows you where the mind of the people are going. They made an effort through something that was called the Senate Bill 1515. Well, what was that Senate Bill 1515? A Texas lawmaker's bill that would require all public school classrooms in the state to display the 10 Commandments, passed in the Senate Thursday night, and the senator at the helm believes the Supreme Court paved the way for him to get the bill signed into law. The bill will remind students all across Texas of the importance of the fundamental foundation of America, King said at an April committee hearing regarding his bill, Senate Bill 1515. Again, the bill failed ultimately because of poor timing. But notice the push that you're seeing from a certain side of America. They're tired of the immorality. They're tired of the violence. They're tired of the absence of God. And so their response is not to reason with people, but to force people with law to become religious. The devil is a master trapper. He sets up one trap just so you can run from it and fall into the other trap. In fact, 45% of Americans say, it's not just like, just a lot of folks in politics, but it's also in the religious realm. 45% of Americans say U.S. should be a Christian nation. Notice, growing numbers, it's growing, family. Growing numbers of religious and political leaders are embracing the Christian nationalist label. And some dispute the idea that the country's founders wanted a separation of church and state. Again, notice the date, October 27th, 2022. You see, it's like the game is being set up.